It's oh yeah, white people, that's something we do. It's called managing your blackness. See, white people, y'all can be white all day long. Black people can't be black all day long. Society don't play that. It's messed up. But we have to choose throughout our day when to be black and when not to be. It's crazy. That black dude you work with, that ain't how he really got. That is not the real James. You go to a job interview, you cut that black shit off. You go in there like, yes, it behooves me to, I don't even know what the hell behoove means, but I feel like it go there, you know.
All right, fellas, let's get it started. Since my man Henry likes to talk about vaccines, so this past Monday, Pfizer came out and said that they have a 90% effective vaccination out. So the details about that is still in the works in regards of how it's going to be administered. If according to whoever is the president at this time, Trump has yet to concede at this point. But yeah, so Pfizer came out with a 90% effective vaccination. The market went crazy. Market saw record highs that on that news. But what's most interesting, and this was from Market Insider, the Pfizer CEO cashed out on a $5.6 million stock after the announcement of the vaccination. And pretty much the executive sold up to $6 million worth of his shares due to personal financial planning. This equates to up to 30% of his total compensation of the year. So you have Pfizer coming out with good news and the CEO essentially selling on good news, which a lot of people are speculating that this could be possible insider trading on his behalf.
So wouldn't he be selling because the stock's about to go down?
Well, the thing is, when you're like a chairman of the board or an executive officer, you have to announce when you're going to sell. I think the headlines were a little bit it's coincidental that when Pfizer announced their vaccination that he sold, where it's kind of alluding that he possibly insider trade. But you know, these sort of transactions by these officials, they have to announce it months in advance when they're going to plan on selling. But it still looks, you know, the PR of it still looks bad. And there is an investigation that's happening by the SEC to see exactly how much did he know about the announcements per se, the announcement details per se.
Yeah. Well,
he's the only one that made money off of that?
To our knowledge, yeah.
Or did he have, like, you know, family members and friends that he also gave that information to?
And this is where the SEC investigation is going to start, has begun. So they're going to look into it to see if any extended family members, friends, colleagues, to see if they also have transacted sales on the news date itself. So
the news isn't that there's a vaccine. The news is that this dude made money off of it.
I think that's the most important news. Yeah, you know, Pfizer's saying that, you know, they have a 90% effective vaccination rate. That's good to know. It basically calms people's nerves.
Well, wait, Bradley, I got a question.
Yeah.
So they got a 90% effective rate, but this guy sold because maybe it's not that effective.
See, that's what I was thinking. Like, why
you know
would
what I mean?
Why would he sell it?
Why would you sell it if it's about to blow up and you can make a lot more money?
Smith, you are a smart man, because I was listening to this one podcaster, right? He's a financial guy, and he made that same argument. He was just like, well, if you think it's going to be effective, why would you sell it now? Why won't you wait 6 months? Why won't you wait a year, like, to see
exactly?
You know, so that is an interesting. That's an interesting.
If you're the only person with the vaccine, if you're the only person with the vaccine, you're the first to the race, first to the moon, so to speak. Why would you sell it?
Yeah.
Right, because he knows there's a chance it ain't gonna work, and he just
Exactly.
he cashing in on what he got now. That was
I'm not taking no vaccine, bro.
see that's that's the part I didn't understand. Like
Yeah.
the shit went up and then homeboy sold it.
Nah,
Yeah, like
you guys make some great arguments. That's a great talking point. It's there's a lot to be to investigate, but yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Your questions are valid because that's
wait,
what
and you said it was 6 billion?
6 million. He made 6
Oh,
million.
6 million. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. Yeah, they got to check that.
Yeah, that's still a nice come up. 6 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
Well, based off of what we're reading right now, sometimes what, seems to be the first instinct or the first answer isn't always really the case. There might be something more to it. He might know that there may be something going on within the company that he may be losing his job, so you want to cash out while he can. Maybe he no longer wants to be there, for some reason, and he's trying to cash out while he can. It may not have anything to do with the vaccine. It could have something to do with the vaccine, where maybe he feels that, hey, I don't think 90% is good enough. We need 100%. But I'm not. I don't want to take that gamble. That 10% causes one lawsuit. And that's all you need to be damned is one bad case. And that's in any case. Like, a man could do 300 million good things in his life, but the one bad thing he does, everybody comes down on him for, and it ruins his life. So, like, there may be more to it than what we may assume. I mean, the easy answer seems almost too easy, and it's just obvious that in this case that it would seem like insider trading. It would be a stupid move.
Yeah. Well, the one thing when I was looking into the vaccination, after this announcement, was what I came to find out is, like, there's no vaccination that's like 100%, not even the flu. Vaccination is usually around 60 to 80%. So I don't think we ever have a vaccination that's 100% according to the experts, but that's what they're trying to aim for. But, we'll see though. People are very optimistic about this. But yeah, for me, the biggest story was the CEO selling on the news, the day of the news, which is going to be, what's that, Black Zeus?
I know, I agree with you. You're right. I've read studies that said vaccines such as the flu are only around 60, 40 to 60%. I've read that before, and people still die, people still get sick, this, that, and the other. But in this climate, this political climate, and this hypersensitivity, even 90% may not be good enough. It may cause all types of ripple effects that, I don't know. Like, it seems too simple that somebody would make that large of a mistake.
Hey, I agree with you, Schubert, but then again, I started thinking when you just started talking more, and I started thinking, and reading this book, motherfuckers do some dumb shit, bro.
Why
like, so we could give them the benefit of the doubt, but bro, people be doing some bullshit.
Yeah, I just looked it up on the flu shot.
Like, straight up.
Flu shot, it said it's about 70% effective.
70%, yeah.
Yeah.
So
90% ain't bad if it really is.
I just got a random question. How effective is a condom? I'm just curious. I'm just curious.
When I started typing in what percentage of effectiveness is whatever, it popped up and said condom. 98%.
98%? Okay, I was just curious.
If you use it the right way.
If you use it the right way. You can't recycle it, Smith.
Yeah, you can't. You can't rinse it out.
You can't
hang it up on the clothesline.
I'm gonna take them off the clothesline in about 15 minutes. Then.
All right, man. I'll run through. Unfortunately, we're like in this whole COVID coronavirus world, so like most of the news is surrounded it. So I'm gonna lump in these next news headlines together, not necessarily get into the weeds of it. So obviously, you guys probably are aware there are further lockdowns that are coming. Basically, the vast majority of states are instituting some sort of restrictions, lockdowns. from you, if you go to I'll provide you guys the links of USA Today, what each state is currently doing in regards to lockdowns. So that's that. This is from CNBC, and this headline was very interesting. So Dr. Fauci said the U.S. has independent spirit, but now is not the time to do what you're. But now is the time to do what you're told. Countries like America and in Europe have had challenges encouraging people to follow public health measures. Dr. Fauci said that the independent spirit of Americans has gotten in the way, but now he says it's time for Americans to follow the rules.
So I was just talking to Smith about there's been worldwide 54 million cases and about 1.3 deaths. That's a 98% survival rate.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna lie. I do like the fact that, schools are shut down and I get to work from home. But at this point, it does seem like, and that's not saying it's necessarily a bad thing. It does seem like we're protecting the elderly, people who are at high risk. My mom's at high risk, so I'm not against this at all. But I just think a lot of people do have that. What's that? The fatigue of the coronavirus, as far as like the rules in place. And I don't know if this is going to work. Not saying that people are going to rebel and going against the cops, but I just feel
wait. You don't think the lockdown and
things.
restrictions are going to work?
No, people still going to do things. They're still going to find a way to do it.
Yeah.
And like maybe they're doing that with the hopes that not as many cases will rise as fast. But like, man, unless y'all gonna turn this into like a communist country where people are severely punished for not following the law, like people still gonna do what they want to do. Like you hand out fines. Okay, what does that mean to somebody who has money? Like, okay, I'm just still gonna have this party and do what it is that I want to do.
Anybody else? Smith, Black Zeus.
And we make it sound very depressing. You're right. I still like what Black Zeus said. Like 99% of people have hangovers. That don't mean they like that shit. That whole part and the whole herd immunity. Like at the end of the day, bro, this ain't polio and we ain't in caveman eras. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, we are still the wealthiest nation. Why in the fuck can't we get this shit together, bro? Like, why can't we get it together? Because people really want to have freedoms. You know what I mean? I get it. I want to travel and shit. But at the end of the day, so I get the 2%, 98% survival rate, and I get all that shit. But at the end of the day, motherfucker, it's not no war. We're in I guess we're at war against this virus. But yo, you want to lose like 500,000 people? That shit is not a head scratcher. We're reading Talking to Strangers, Default to Truth, Transparency, and all this shit. That shit is not a head scratcher to lose 500,000 people in less than a year? The fuck? Nah, bruh. Nah. We got to do better. Shut shit down, do whatever the fuck y'all got to do. You talking about losing 500,000 people in less than a year. Bruh, where have you ever lost that many people in less than a year? We had shit like AIDS running around this month. Bruh, when? Somebody got to open my eyes because that shit sounds crazy to me.
Yeah, they say.
And if people can't really see the brass tacks of losing 500 to 600,000 people in 12 months, bruh, that shit is phenomenally asinine. That shit is so ridiculously stupid. It's such a lack of empathy for just the human spirit. Like, we suck. You know what I mean? That's the bottom line. We as humans fucking suck.
Yeah, it looked like it's
Plain
on
and
pace.
simple.
It looked like it's on pace to be close to half. They say right now we at 245,000. So by what's the year? What's the year, like March, since like we officially
March should be a year.
Down, since we
March
officially shut everything down.
March 13th.
Yeah. So, I mean,
that's That's crazy to me. That's a head scratcher to me. I don't see it, don't understand it. Don't understand that. And people are okay with that shit. Like, okay, well, people die. People die. I get it. I understand people die. I get it. People die every day. Like, that's what happens. It's the circle of life. But goddamn, you losing that many people in a year? That's a lot. That's a lot. That shit is a lot, bro.
It's a world.
Like your Jesus, your Allahs, your gods, your ids and your odds. Like, yo, bro, whatever your God is, this is what your God is saying. We need this is the cleansing. Is this a religious cleansing that's happening? What the fuck is really going on? Like,
they said
a lot of people.
World War II, approximately 407,000 people. 407,000 people died, approximately. Yeah.
That's a war.
Yeah, it's a war.
This is where I'm asking you to put something over your face or stay inside. And if people would have just done it temporarily at one time, we probably would be a little better and faster to get back to where we wanted to be. You know what I mean? Like, I just think it's just, I get everybody. I want to live. I want to do what I want to do. I get all that shit. But if it ain't nothing to do because you keep messing everything up, then what? You know what I mean? Like it's like the dog chasing the tail. Most of y'all got dogs, right? So y'all seen the dog chase his tail running around in that circle. It's like that's what we're doing here. Shit is stupid as hell.
Black Zeus.
Us being the wealthiest country, has nothing to do with it. I mean, wealth and intelligence do not correlate. I mean, if that was the case, Donald Trump would be a genius. But the reality is that people are ignorant. People are self-righteous, entitled. And, either you get one of the two extremes. Either the people who are hypersensitive and every little cough, sneeze, and, tear in somebody's eye or sniffle is assumed to be corona, and they want to rush off and get a test that they don't need. And they're standing in line, taking up time, resources that other people actually do need, or you get the other side of the spectrum, people that's like, oh, it's just like the common cold or the flu, let's have a 700 party, with, crowd surfing and everybody hugging and, singing Kumbaya.
You saw the celebration last week? Yeah,
so,
motherfuckers in Montclair went but bonkers. I was like, yo, we in the midst of a pandemic. What are you guys doing?
That was everywhere. That's why the numbers went up.
And honestly,
that's why they went up.
God.
And I'm gonna sound like a cold-hearted bastard, but I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all.
Keep it 100.
Go ahead, Zeus. What's my lightning sound?
That's what I need. Keep it 100.
Go ahead.
Honestly, to me, there's a small part of me that's like, let the purge happen. Just let it happen. Let the stupid, pull the stop signs away, pull the guardrails away. Let the stupid go off the cliff, and the intelligence still survive. We don't need to continue their gene pool. Let them do it to themselves, and that's the thing. In our society, we save everybody. Doesn't matter, whether they are, useful to society or not. We save everybody. And sometimes, you know what? You got to let the dumbass walk off the cliff. Like, all right, well, you couldn't figure out there's a cliff. That's on him.
Yeah, I mean, in every situation, in numerous situations, there's just times where it's just like, oh, everybody can't be saved.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Protect and save yourself.
I dig it.
I
I like Schubert's breakdown. You do get two extremes.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that when I hear talks about giving up, the liberties of America, for the safety, it takes me to like a Benjamin Franklin's quote once he once said, like, those who give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve either no liberty or no safety at all. So it's just like, it reminds me of like that George Orwellian 1984. If anyone who read that book, is just it's just one of those things that I feel like we need to tread lightly, especially coming from Dr. Fauci. When I hear that sort of language, it just brings me back to like that quote and that book. But that's pretty much it. Next,
and just to end that really though, hey, Black Zeus, that's what this administration has done. They said, "Fuck it, take the guardrails away and let it be." That's all. I'm done.
Yeah,
That's what they
So,
did.
that is very true.
They did exactly what Black Zeus said. They took the guardrails off and said, "Those who go off the cliff go off, and those who don't, oh well."
Yeah, homeboy locked it down for what, 2.5, 3 months, and he was just like, "Fuck it, we opening up everything."
Yeah, and whatever happens, happens.
And not for nothing, he also gave, free will to the schools. Like, yo, y'all make the decision. Same thing. Y'all want to open up schools? Open them up. You want to keep them closed? Keep them closed. Like, yo, that's really what it's been.
Yeah.
But I also think a lot of people misconstrue, and I'm interested to see how the Biden administration really enforce a lockdown, because I think what Trump, to his credit, what he was doing is he wasn't trying to violate the constitutional rights of the state. Like him trying to enforce a national lockdown was going to be a constitutional legal battle that this administration was going to face. Like, so you think about states like Texas and, your red states, they would have fought that in the federal courts. So it's going to be interesting how the Biden administration pulls off a national lockdown, because that's going to face some legal battles.
The part that's tough is just like, it just sucks for like the restaurant owners who have to make a living, because if you shut down the restaurants and the clubs, the numbers are going down, man. Yeah. Like, there's no way around it. The numbers are just gonna go down. Yeah. Because most of these, I mean, I don't know the numbers, but it's safe to say majority of these cases are due to social settings.
Well, Governor Murphy said that it's not even coming from the restaurants. You said you hinted at it though, Kel. A lot what's happening is you creating a black market underground. People are having parties.
Yeah, they are.
That's what's happening. People are having parties. Like in New Jersey alone, I've read multiple articles where they're having to go to people's houses, shutting down parties where 100+ people are there, because they can't go to the bar, they can't go to the restaurants. So people are bringing the parties to neighboring houses.
But that's still the same thing. I mean, if y'all leave the bars and whatever open, then them same people gonna be at the bar instead of the house party.
No, I hear you, but I'm saying, like, what's crazy is like the bars and the restaurants and all these other social settings, they're suffering because they're going to have to adhere by whatever state regulations anyway. Really,
what it comes down to is socialization is about to be the death of us. The fact that we don't want to be alone for however long, like, that's what it comes down to.
We don't want to be alone. Yeah,
I don't want to be alone. That's gonna be that's what's causing people to
having a freaking pity party because I'm by myself.
Yeah, I don't want to be by myself. I'm sad about it. So now I'm gonna go out and make sure people die.
It's the youth that's a problem. And I would say that it's the youth, because the youth have this sort of invincibility mentality, and when they're just ignorant. We've all been youthful and ignorant, so it's just like, it's dumb. I know I've been responsible.
Well, and they also did the numbers like Kel did and said, well, it's a 98% survival rate, so I'm gonna take my chance.
Yeah, and then I even
take the guardrail off, and I'm taking a chance.
Yeah,
flights are $19, so I'm flying out. I'm chilling.
Yeah, I saw the article that broke it down even further. The article broke it down even further, was saying like, the people from like 18 to like 30 are least likely. They were second least likely to die from it. The freaking little kids was like the least amount. So they looking at it like, people from 65, I think, and up.
Yeah.
Made up for like 25, 30%, probably even like 40%. It was the highest number of deaths. So they looking like, you're right, I could fly for 19. The trade-off for me saving $150 on this flight is that I got to deal with a flu when I get back. Fuck it, I'm doing it. I'm about to go live it up.
There's no that's the thing. It's like there's no convincing the youth to take proper precautionary measures. That's unfortunate. Like for me, I'm taking it because I like to visit my mom. I like to visit my in-laws. They're up there in age. And I've actually had to watch Joanna do a Zoom funeral. That shit was one of the most depressing things I've ever had to see, man. And
I was about to say, you watched her do a Zoom funeral?
Bro, because her best friend's father died. And like she couldn't even see the body, like the friend that is. Like she didn't see the father's body. Like this was in the height of it all, man. And I'm watching my wife, cry and shit because she was just like, this just wasn't life for her. She couldn't console her best friend because she couldn't go out there. It was just a mess. So I'm just hoping that people could just adhere to whatever the measures are. The vaccination is what it is, and
just suffer, not being. I mean, and I get the whole. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to like poo-poo on depression. It's just hard for me to believe that people are committing suicide because, and I don't know if this is the case, but because it's like, I got to stay in the house and I'm lonely and can't go out. Like, y'all got to suffer for the next however long.
Nah, bro, you got to read some psychology books, bro. Like
people are doing.
People can't. No, like there's a reason why. And Shua Smith, one of you guys said, that so like if you're an inmate and you cause all types of hell and they put you in isolation, they call that solitude. Thank you. They call that inhumane. So like that sort of confinement is a psychological toll for most people.
I get that, but I also read articles when it all started where friends were saying to combat this, we're spending nights at each other's house. So it's not like you're by yourself. When I'm saying social, I just mean from the sense of, I want to go out and be around a whole bunch of people.
Oh, okay. Like, you're talking about that social dynamic.
Like if I'm single, so if I'm single and all four of us are single and we're going through this, I'll be like, nigga, let's go spend the night at each other's houses a couple of nights so that we all ain't got to sit in the freaking house together. We all know we're being responsible. We're going to work and coming back. Now, granted, you don't know who you're coming into contact with when you're going there, but still, you still get that opportunity. But I get it. I can't sit by myself and not be in contact with anybody either for an extended amount of time. But if I was a single man, I'd be going down to my mom's. I'll be going to a family member's house. You're telling me these people have no friends?
Bro, you'd be amazed to how many people die alone. Like, just with no contact of anyone.
And yes, Henry, a lot of these people don't have friends. Facebook
there's a lot of people who don't have contact.
Instagram is not your friends.
Yeah.
These people are not your friends. You got followers, but nobody's your friend. These people are lonely.
Yeah, there's some people that are lonely, bro. Like even on the streets, homeless, lonely. Like a lot of times, I've worked at a shelter, volunteered at a shelter home. You'll be surprised. Like you're just like, is there anyone we could contact for you? Nah.
Okay, so then, all right, you're that lonely. You want to be in a social setting, nigga, go to the supermarket. Because if you're going to the
next story, bro. Next story. No, listen, we in a time crunch. My man said, meet a friend at the produce aisle. You can talk about lettuce and stuff.
But what's the difference? If I don't have any friends, I'm trying to go to the club or the bar to make a friend. Go to the supermarket.
Black Zeus, last comment, bro. I can't deal with it.
It's all been said.
Okay.
Said go to the produce market.
Oh man,
I done met many friends over there in the female friends in the meat section.
Yeah. All right. Interesting. All right. Well, this is the last bit of COVID news, and I'm about to be done with COVID for the next 2 weeks, man. Maybe 3 weeks. So this is from USA Today. Ticketmaster may require vaccination or negative COVID-19 tests when concert returns. This past Wednesday, the ticket selling company revealed that it is working ways to verify that that ongoers have been vaccinated or tested negative for coronavirus before attending a show. The framework is still being worked out. There's going to be third-party health companies and customers who will be required to get tested approximately 24 to 72 hours before attending a concert.
Well, I saw that I was watching the Jump, and they were saying how the Golden State Warriors owner is trying to do something similar, where they're coming up with like a rapid response test where the fans, because he wants to fill up the stands 50%, the fans can get their responses in like 15 minutes. And the rebuttal to that was like, yo, if we have this test that could be administered and you get the results in 15 minutes, and they were saying it will require them to buy like 30,000 per game. They're saying, why would y'all even waste it on sports? Why not spend it, give those tests to people who actually need them? Because it's saying they can only produce something like 100,000 a day starting out. So we're taking like 25, 30,000 of those and just giving them to fans so they can watch a sports game.
Well, to hell with that, Henry, because the problem is them rapid tests aren't even reliable.
Well, no, they were saying this is 99.9%. I'm gonna send you the clip.
This is a new rapid test that
it's one. They said it's not gonna be available until the spring.
Oh, they haven't made it yet. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the works. The rapid test that they have out right now. I know people that have took the rapid test in 2 different nostrils and had positive and negative. Now, the idea is, it could be positive in just one nostril because it hasn't spread yet. And I'm like, yeah, I taught science. That could, see what I'm saying? Yeah.
I didn't hear that.
Too many. It's too. I'll send you
like, yo, if you're gonna shake my hand, shake my left hand, bro. Cause my right hand got COVID.
I'm like, yo, that is too. Yeah. But those rapid tests, and you're right. That would work, but why not just give it to the American people? Like at the end of the day, your education. So how does it filter down to the 65,000 kids that you're responsible for? You know what I mean? Like, how does that?
Yeah, and then another thing that they were saying was they were saying that it would even be more beneficial in somewhere like a school where you have the same people coming in every day. When you're talking about a basketball or sporting event, you got different people coming into each event.
Well, the reason
they're trying to figure out how to make that money, man.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, the reason why I brought up this story is follow the technology, invest in the technology. I think that's fascinating. Like the whatever third party application they're gonna use.
The third party, yeah.
Yeah, it's just follow the money, invest in the money, and that's why I find that this particular story interesting. And just like, oh, okay, this is interesting. That they're gonna have. Now that you brought up the Golden State Warriors, I'm interested to see what technology or what third party company that you're going to use for this. And I think this is going to be the new investment framework.
Yeah. Well, they were saying that the owner is like some type of biochemistry, like some type of company. So he's doing some type of research that goes into it. Yeah. So I don't know what the third party would be. They were saying that they would have like testing stations in a certain mile radius from the arena. So you would get tested, like 15, 20 minutes away. By the time you get there, your result is already ready.
Yeah, because this is going to be the thing for everything now. And I just think that this is going to be something that, hey, if this is going to be the thing, invest in it, fellas. Let's try to build that paper up.
That makes sense to me. I like that idea.
Yeah.
Follow the money trail.
Yeah, just follow the money trail. Hey, this is going to be the new society. Like, yo, just follow it, man. Just invest in it.
Yeah.
Send me that article. Y'all investing in Pfizer or no?
Well, invest in all of the pharmaceutical companies who has an interest in producing a vaccination. That's what I think, right, Shu?
Well, I have a medical index fund, so.
Oh, there you go. Share the ETF.
Spread it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Of course you do. Shoot.
Yeah, man.
Hey, man, medical technology, fucking tech, real estate investment trust, medical, and a couple things in obviously the S&P 500, the Dow, and the NASDAQ. You know, like I hit them index funds because, like, you know, why not spread your bets a little bit, a little smoother? You know what I mean? Spread your bets a little smoother.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that real estate is the greatest one because motherfuckers is defaulting on these mortgages, and by April and May, them houses are going to be rocking.
Oh man, that was one news segment. I was like, that's going to be too lengthy. But all right, we pressed for time.
Hey,
let me just run through these.
Follow the money, Trev.
Follow the money, man. All right, I'm just going to run through
money.
these real quick. This one probably doesn't need much of a response. I just wanted to throw it out there. Amazon is planning to open up a grocery store in New Jersey. It's going to be located in Plaza 46 in what town is this? 46 at a shopping setting on Route 46 west of Woodland Park. There we go. Woodland Park. Yeah, Woodland Park. So
I know where that is. I know where that is.
Yeah. So like Amazon have all of the new technologies happening. They got the palm reading. That you got the whole. You don't necessarily have to carry a credit card because you could just take stuff out of the aisles and put it in a basket and leave the store. So we might actually experience this firsthand now that they're gonna look to open this up in Woodland Park.
One thing that was a little surprising to me, I didn't realize. I didn't know Amazon drug tested the employee. You know, like that's part of the application process. Why?
Why do they drug test their employees?
Yeah.
For the same reason a lot of people drug test.
Why? I'm about to say, why do they drug test their employees?
Like, if you working in like a factory. I don't get it. I mean, I don't think this Walmart.
That's why. Wait. Whoa, pause.
I'll tell you the logic.
If you work in a factory,
think about this. It's not working in a factory. It's working in a warehouse full of a lot of expensive merchandise.
So you think you're going to take?
You have a drug habit that you don't have enough money to cover. I mean, we all bought that $10 VCR from a crackhead some point in the hood. You know, so do you want that dude working in your warehouse of expensive merchandise? Hell no.
I want that guy.
Wait.
I want that guy working in the warehouse.
No, you missed the part.
Yeah, because
warehouse, there is like these things called machines.
Heavy machinery.
Heavy machinery under the influence. Are you serious, man?
Yeah, you could seriously injure yourself, bro.
You can seriously injure yourself.
I know somebody that actually dropped a tray off a forklift on somebody's toes, on somebody's foot, completely smashing that shit. So you don't want that. You don't want workplace accidents, man.
Bro, I just read
in a factory before, and you want to keep workplace accidents to zero. And they these numbers. They keep it zero, and they'll say the last time we had an accident was 1,959 days ago.
That does
try to keep that.
That does keep the drug addicts away. But if you're a casual user, you could go a month or two without doing whatever, get the job, and then still start doing it again. I
think we need to do a road trip and go to the Amazon store when it open up and do this. I
thought you wasn't down with the palm reading and all that other stuff. Now you want to go to the Amazon store?
Oh yeah, I gotta be in the no. First of all, listen, I have to know. I have to be the spook who sat by the door. I have to go to know so I can be knowledgeable of what I speak of, brother. I don't just speak out my ass. I have to know what I speak of. And the only way to do that is by immersing myself into that is which I am trying to speak of.
I can't go.
So you go to the KKK rally, to talk shit about, white supremacists? So you
said, do I go to KKK rallies?
You know what to say about white supremacists?
Yo, there was a brother who did infiltrate the Klansmen. Man.
Yes.
All right, last two bit of news, man. As we were reading this book, they touched on Bernie Madoff and his Ponzi scheme. So this past Tuesday, it was announced that a family in Bergen County was charged with $4.7 million in a Ponzi scheme. The owner of a distressed North New Jersey real estate investment firm and his parents, brother, and one family friend were charged in a multi-million-dollar Ponzi scheme that began in at least 2014, authorities said. All of the victims, there's approximately 30 investors or victims involved with this investment Ponzi scheme. The investigation found that the Singh family perpetuated double-digit returns since at least 2014. So they're being charged with money laundering, theft, and forgery charges.
Is that a Chinese family?
Nah, they're Indian. I saw the pictures.
Yeah,
Oh,
Singh
okay.
is Indian name.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. I was like, wow, we just read about Bernie Madoff and that. The one thing I would say as I was reading this article, they were guaranteeing double-digit returns. And I recently got my not recently, I've had it for quite a bit of time. So I have like my FINRA licenses, so I'm a broker. The one thing you never want to hear from a financial advisor is guaranteed returns. No one should ever come to you and say, yeah, I could guarantee this. That's one bit of advice.
Oh, you telling me if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is.
Correct.
I got you.
So they can't say, I guarantee this ain't gonna make no money?
Well, they could say, well, then what's the point of investing if they're gonna come to you that way?
Yo, like if I be like, yo, I really, really, really want to invest in DAR, and they be like, yo, I don't think you should. Nah, I really want to. Man, I guarantee I ain't gonna make no money.
Well, they should.
I think of it like this: if there's something that you can guarantee, then why am I messing with you? If I can guarantee a certain amount of return on something, why am I even conversating with you?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, how do we get in circles? Like, I can guarantee this.
Yeah.
So
like Zeus, the investment guy.
Listen, anytime somebody sells you the get rich quick scheme or the promise of paradise, you gotta think something smell funny. You gotta take the good with the bad. There's no just good with the good. It just doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Good with the good.
All right. Well, since we're pressed for time, I'm going to skip this last story and we can get on to the book. All right, fellas, let's get it on. It was the last 4 chapters were really good. I love Schubert questions because that one I was going to send, but I said screw it. But let's start with Smith's question since it came in last, so last in, first out. So his question goes as follows: does default to truth allow for biases against Black men?
I guess it depends on who's making the judgment. So
explain.
I mean, if it's, I feel like if it's somebody who's the same race.
Was that Shu?
No, could Smith elaborate on that question? What he means by that specifically?
Yeah, go ahead,
I was
Smith.
So the question is, does it allow for biases against Black men? So defaulting to truth means that we already basically have this, in a sense, preconceived notion about what we're coming into contact with. So my question is, does the default to truth allow for biases against Black men? So you're not seeing me as being transparent because you're defaulting. When you meet me, you're already in that default mode of, I'm not meeting him as the person, I'm meeting him as this Black character that I see. Does that allow for biases when people are meeting us as a Black man?
Well,
does presentation matter in addition to that assessment when we default to truth?
I think we are, making a forced correlation between making a biased assumption and defaulting to truth. The defaulting to truth in the book means that if you meet Kelvin and he says he's a vice principal, you automatically default to truth that if he says he's a vice principal, he is. But if you see Kel and you see him wearing sweatpants, Timbs, and a hat flipped back and he says he's a vice principal, and you go by your bias of thinking, nah, he looks like a thug to me, then you're not defaulting to truth, you're defaulting to your bias. So I think we're correlating these two things.
Okay.
The same. At least the way the default to truth is explained in the book.
Yeah, that makes sense. I understand that.
Brad, what you think? You always go last. Oh, hold on.
If the presentation is made that here's this Black man and he's a deadbeat father, and that is what's being presented to you, let's say in a court of law, and you don't have the finer details to know, well, he is there for his kids, he pays his child support, but his ex-wife uses the money to get her hair and nails done, this, that, and the other, or maybe he's been forced out the situation because his ex-wife has turned his kids against him, then you are defaulting to truth because the fact of, what was originally presented to you as him being a deadbeat dad.
Deadbeat dad.
It's what the initial, presentation was given to you.
President, what you think, man?
Well, I'm sorry that I missed like 10 seconds of that. I had to step out real quick. But in regards to like what I first perceived of the question as Smith presented it, I thought presentation could possibly be a factor when we talk about the way Black men are often viewed in society, like the way unfortunately, as someone who don't necessarily prescribe to this notion, but the way you carry yourself in regards of your attire, how many tattoos you have, the way you speak. A lot of times when encountered with some of the stereotypical things that is often shown the image of Black men, you kind of default the truth about those individuals when you do see them on the street. But I'm sorry that I missed what Shu has to say, because a lot of times when he speaks, it makes me rethink about what I have to say, and I usually like, okay. I was like, damn, that's a good question. But that's a good input, and I'm like, you know what? Let me reassess how the way I'm gonna approach this. But that's when I see that a lot of times I think presentation is what really triggers the default to truth.
Yeah, I think that's just with. So just to answer the question, because it can be applied to more than just Black men, but I think a lot of it just has to do with the fact that other people may not have as much experience interacting with a certain race. So it's just like, if this is what they're saying it's like, these are the only images that I have, then I'm going to think that that's the truth. Now, I think if we look at a certain image on the news or TV or wherever, and then we see the opposite of that in person, where I'm not used to seeing a well-dressed, Black man who's X, Y, and Z, I still think they would default the truth to whatever they think the perception is. And that's just unfortunate, regardless of how they carry themselves. I mean, I could still have all the tattoos and have them covered up, but I still feel like, look, if I don't know a person or a group of people personally, and I'm not speaking for myself, but just in general, and all that I know is what I've heard, then I'm probably just going to default to that truth.
Now, does that apply to a certain age demographic? Because I think that, if we're talking about white folks in this situation, I think that, if you encounter white people under the age of 50, they don't necessarily have that sort of, I'm generalizing, obviously, I'm talking in an absolute mind frame right here. But I think, I don't know, I've had pleasurable encounters of white people under the age of 50. And, my encounters hasn't necessarily been like that. A lot of times, it's often been,
Well, not even that the encounters have to be pleasant or unpleasant. They can still be pleasant, but in the back of their mind, the perception can still be what it is. Like,
touch on everything that both Bradley and Kelvin said. Bradley actually described me because I always wear a hood. I'm 6'1". I'm close to almost 300 pounds. I'm a large Black man. And I've got like 7 tattoos and we'll probably have a few more. So I definitely describe the stereotypical Black threat.
Yes.
That Bradley speaks to.
My man should cast a shadow in the motherfucking room. That shit, like, why the fuck the room is so dark?
But I must also concur with Bradley, where in my travels, I find that I think people are a little bit standoffish with me at first, and then as soon as they hear me speak, then their perception of me changes. I've had everything from I was really scared, like who's the big scary black guy in the room, to like, oh, that's you, he's great, I love him, So, and I've seen the change happen just because of interaction. So to say like if someone's gonna go to their default of truth or their stereotypic, yes, I think that in the sense of they're gonna go to their what bias or viewpoints they may already have, that's gonna be their first and initial reaction. Yes, I think you can change that influence by your interaction. Your appearance may say one thing, but your interaction gives a whole nother appearance, a whole nother story. Much like how they said that Bernie Madoff, even him being a guilty man, the way he came off when being asked a question, he didn't come off as defensive. He came off like, I can't believe people think this of me. Like,
Yeah.
I had nothing to do but to help everyone. And that made him hard to read. Same thing with Hitler. Everybody knew Hitler was this crazy killer, but once they came and did the double-handed handshake and had a conversation with him, they had a different view of him.
Yeah. All right.
So,
Yeah, y'all did good. That's exactly what I expected out of that. Because that I think that definitely, like what Kel was saying, it definitely hits on, if I only see this imagery on a television, then that's the only truth that I have of these particular people. And you do have to strip that away. And like you said, I have to have a personal interaction, personal encounter. I have to use my Dushin smile. Not my zygomatics muscle major smile.
So let me ask you. So being that we're talking about black men and black men's imagery and presentation, should we now as because we're all well-to-do black men, is it now that we should push back on the narrative that's often portrayed of us? Because I'm tired of hip hop artists being the representation of black men when it comes to the way we behave, the way we conduct ourselves. It's just like, not saying that all of these hip hop artists are bad people, but I'm just tired of having them being the representation of black men predominantly.
Well,
think about this. Wait. They're not the representation. That's what other people want to be the representation.
But they get the they're often the ones that get the media coverage and the spotlight.
That's because they're the most popular. Like,
that's because
the average person
is that they want to have out, man.
Yeah, the average person
that way.
The average person isn't watching CNN, even though that's a form of entertainment. To see those educated black men. What's my man's name? Van Jones, who was bawling down, crying.
Don't get me started on that, bruh. I'm trying not to stereotype. Like, I know we're trying to break barriers as men and show our vulnerabilities, but I ain't like that.
I'm just saying.
I just did it. I just didn't like the breakdown. I was like, look, I get it. We're transitioning, and I get it, man. But damn, brother, did you have to cry like this?
No, he had to, man. That's it. We have to.
He had to cleanse his soul.
Yeah, we got to be. It's okay.
But look, wait, I gotta go back to that, man, because I am a fanatic of hip hop. I grew up. I'm old hip hop though. Definitely older hip hop. But again, you have to listen. KRS-One. Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone, right? I had an album called Edutainment, all right? Edutainment didn't get pushed because Edutainment was talking about why not to eat beef, and when they arrest a black man, it takes 30 cops or more, you know what I mean? He had content. So the thing is this, we have this in hip-hop. People say there's no good hip-hop. You have hip-hop that has a lot of positive messages. That shit ain't getting played, all right? So that's the representation that we're seeing because that's what we're playing. Now, the other part is this. We can flip the switch and choose not to listen to this. And then if your ratings go down, we have to change the content. But we're still pushing this content. We're still pushing wet-ass pussy, bro. My daughter's 12. We're pushing wet-ass pussy. My daughter is 12.
Yeah, but that's just not black people. That's what white people do.
No, I'm not saying that. He said hip-hop. We're talking about hip-hop. And I'm talking about what hip hop is pushing. Yeah. I ain't talking about a white rapper versus a black rapper. I'm talking about hip hop, what it's pushing and the representation of it and where it comes from. Remember, they're making money off selling the sex drugs to the kids. They're not making money off of selling the Nas, I know I can be what I want to be. If I work hard enough, I'll be where I want to be. They ain't trying to push that.
Yeah, that's because
Like, let's talk about it.
that's because most of the rappers are talking about stuff. I mean, outside of wet ass pussy, but most of them are talking about stuff that they lived and experienced themselves. So the average,
No, not true. Most of them are talking about what somebody else experienced and what they saw.
I was gonna say, like,
well, same thing.
Black Zeus, go
But
ahead, Black
that's
Zeus.
you telling me Rick Ross, 2 Chains, these guys who actually went to college, have a degree, are talking about their life of, selling drugs and, working with Pablo Escobar or, or whoever. Like, no, that's not the case, bro.
No,
That's
it's not the case.
Even Lil Wayne, I think went to what, Virginia? No, one of them went to Virginia Tech. But the whole thing is, long story short, is the fact of it's the product that they're selling and the image that they're making their money off of. The reality is, it's like, I'm not mad at you if you started off, let's say I'm gonna use Jay-Z as an example because I think he's the best example to use. If you start off with Jay-Z and you start off talking about the street hustle because that's all you knew, I understand. Because that was actually Jay-Z's life. That wasn't, made up fictional story. That was his real life. But as his real life changed, so did his lyrics, so did the product he put out. So if you look at Jay-Z Reasonable Doubt talking about the drug game, and you look at Jay-Z's 444 album talking about investments and buying up the block that that you shoot up, it's a different thing.
Yeah, but then you're saying that we're go ahead.
I'm just saying the rap game itself hasn't changed. It still keeps promoting the same bullshit products.
But okay, so even if you take somebody like Rick Ross, because you do have some rappers who don't live it. You do have some who do. But at the end of the day, we're saying, okay, just because you guys are we're expecting them to become more well educated as they go on so that they can start talking about different things. Like, that ain't what they want to do. Not saying it's a positive or negative. So, like, if Lil Wayne, his whole career, lives whatever lifestyle, okay, maybe I'm out in the suburbs, but that doesn't mean that I'm reading more. That doesn't mean that I'm experiencing whatever different things that's going to make me talk about different things in my rap. Like Jay-Z is a prime example because this dude turned from a rapper to a businessman. Like, the average rapper, even if they are businessmen, they're not businessmen in the sense where they understand, okay, how to invest and do X, Y, and Z. It's just like, no, maybe I have some people around me who might get me this record, this endorsement deal, or might tell me to invest in X, Y, and Z. I may not understand it. So, like, I don't think that it's realistic to expect the rapper who comes from the hood, who probably already doesn't have, the average rapper that's not going to college. So now it's just like, oh, you got money now you got to be educated and start talking about different things. Like, no. It might, and that's not to say it wouldn't work. That's why a lot of them probably flame out. And maybe Jay-Z does have that longevity, but to expect that from them, like, yo, y'all got money now, y'all should be smarter. Like, I'm good. I mean, we all got more money. Does that make us want to go back to school and go to, and
we're not talking about having more money and necessarily having more education, this and the other. It's just a matter of, as time goes on, your life changes, your situation changes. You can't be in the same mindset. How the fuck do I look like talking about the streets when I'm not living it no more? When
that's not
bottles of cases of Cristal. I live in a 17-bedroom mansion.
But then you got
talking about that same shit.
So you had a couple rappers who just got shot. Lil Boozy being one of them, and this other dude from Chicago. Me and my wife was just talking about this. My wife was saying, yo, why is he
he shot little boy Carl. Yeah.
Why is he still living that lifestyle where he got this money now? Like, yo, that's the lifestyle that they choosing. Some of them do stay in the hood. It's just like, yo, this is gonna be my lifestyle. Maybe not the ones who are like big time, who's making millions and millions. Like, I look at the Locks, them dudes seem hood, but I know they ain't still living in the hood. Like, I know they out in the suburbs somewhere, so like they was smart. But even like a lot of these little young rappers, man, most of them is staying in the hood.
I definitely agree with you. Like, some people change, some people don't.
Some people change, some people don't.
I just, the one thing,
as a people, as Black people, if we want people to see us differently, we have to make different choices in our lives, in our behavior, and the things that we support, and the things like one of the the things I have a big issue with us as Black people is the fact of, when we talk about all the injustices in the world, right? It's understandable to say injustices in the world, but then you will have Raheem up the street, shoot up the street, sell drugs, this, that, and the other, and y'all want to defend Raheem too, instead of saying, nah, that nigga is fucked up. He ain't with us.
So do y'all honestly feel like if we all looked at each other or held each other accountable that way, then it's going to change the perception of
we won't have the default truth that we have about Black men.
I mean,
no, not us. It's just other people looking at.
Yeah, like as a society, we do it to each other too.
I mean, you can't call me dirty if you can't find a spot on my outfit. But if I keep rolling in the mud and then I want to be perceived as, sparkling clean, how does that work?
I mean, I don't know if that changes
what you perceive that.
See, I don't know if that changes the outside perception. I think that
it kind of it should though, because one of the most tragic things we talking about Jay-Z, I noticed that as he made this transition to being a businessman, a lot of those fans did not come with him. Like he didn't get a lot of those new fans. Like he lost a lot of those fans when he started talking about investments. He started talking about real estate. He started talking about some of the high-end materialistic things that he was gaining. And it's just sad, man. It's just like there's like to what Smith is saying, there's something that we revel in that leads to people want to say default the truth about us as a people, because it's just like what they see is we revel in the buffoonery of what is abandoned culture.
Yeah, but Jay-Z also made the transition from rapper to businessman. So like now,
but he was still rapping about it, and that's what I'm saying is he lost a lot of his fans in that sense.
Yeah, because he's talking about things that his average fans don't understand unless they go and research and read up on it.
But a lot of fans don't even understand anything about the drug game, but yet here we are listening to the drug game being rapped about.
Well, I'm pretty sure that those fans who know about the drug game listen to them fans too. You're right. I mean, but even so, like it's easier for me or a person to understand. Oh man, I bought a gram, I flipped it. Now I made 20. They understand that better than I could have invested in Dumbo. Now I'm selling in Dumbo, mutual stocks and so on. So like that, that's too much for me. Now I got to read up on mutual stocks. I don't need to read up on drugs to understand this nigga bought a pound, he flipped it and made this much. Not saying that's what they're gonna do, but I understand what he's talking about, whether I'm in the drug game or not.
And I'm not mad at that. You make a very valid point. At the same token, here's what it comes down to. It all is the fact of if someone offers you better and you don't want to take it and you don't want to apply it, or you want to make the excuse like, oh no, I got to read a book. Dude, that's you. Nobody got.
You're right, but doing better is hard, man. Like that's their problem. That's what it's hard. I don't want hard. I want easy.
Listen, if I want to get a shape, it's easy to sit on my ass and watch Netflix all day and order Uber Eats. It's gonna take time. I'm gonna have to go down to the gym, lift, run a couple miles, watch my diet. If you want success, you got to work for it. You got to earn it.
And the average person doesn't, Schubert. That's what it is. That's why.
The average person wants it, but doesn't want to put in the work, and then wants to bitch at everybody else who does put in the work and act like there's something wrong with them. Like it should just be given to them. That's the problem.
We also think about. I don't think anybody's complaining about Jay-Z or Dr. Dre or P. Diddy. I mean, even when you think about it, how many rappers or how many people have started out at the bottom like how they did and worked their way up to businessmen like that? There aren't that many rappers or even athletes, even entertainers.
Well, there are some.
I'm about to say there's a lot.
There are some, bro.
But who started off as rappers and now they're businessmen to the point where they don't have to make music.
Bro, I've listened to a couple of Breakfast Club interviews with rappers who do invest on the side. Like Waka Flocka is a multi-millionaire. He said, he invests in the stock market. If you follow he invests, bro. What I'm saying is, going back to the question, is unfortunately to what you were saying, Smith, about KRS-One. Look, I'm a little bit too young for KRS-One, so you have a lot more knowledge in regards of the truth that he was speaking. But I do know that he was one of the best conscious rappers back in the day, and it's just sad in regards to like he does not become the face of, he can't even share the spotlight with some of the most notable rappers that are out there, and this is what leads to the default in truth in black men, because you get one perception and one perception only. And that's
only yes there you go.
That's the problem, man. That's the problem. The fact that Jay-Z can't carry the same amount of fans throughout his entire career, that's a problem.
Yeah, but he's also made new fans, and he also has.
But he hasn't hit the same peak the same time when he was rapping about big pimping. Like,
yeah, well, he doesn't go as hard because he doesn't make music because he has to. He makes it because he wants to, and he also appeals to a certain audience.
But here's my problem, right? So I work with a bunch of white colleagues, and I know Shu has white clients. You ever watch infomercials of a concert and of a Bruce Springsteen or whoever? Like, to this day, they they sing the same songs and they still sell out Madison Square Gardens and concerts. But yet
Jay-Z still sells out too.
But Jay-Z sometimes he has a co-headline.
Yeah, Jay-Z selling out by person. But Pratt, that's like saying.
But you're naming one person.
Exactly. There aren't that many people. That's what I'm saying. There aren't that many people who've started at the bottom like him and have had that success in relation to how many rappers out there. And I mean, y'all also think about it too. When you guys were talking about and doing certain things when y'all were younger, y'all had a crowd that y'all hung around with. Now that you're talking about something different, you didn't bring those people with you. You left them behind and found new people. There's no different. Like, I'm singing a different song right now. I'm not expecting the people who I was drinking and smoking and chilling on my mama's couch with, who you're still doing that and I'm not anymore, for you to be rolling with me.
No, I get that, but I think more for me, what I'm saying is it still would have been great, even for me growing up at that time period of my life, to have seen on television the multitude different layers of black men. And we didn't get them.
But
so therefore we default to truth when we see someone like a Shu, or see someone like a Smith, or see someone like myself who's heavily tatted, and it's just like, wow, you can't just be a tatted black person, but without all the additional stereotypes.
So then our generation should be the last
additional baggage.
So that should die with our generation, because fortunately today you can look on the internet, you can look on the computer, you look on your phone for whatever version of a black person that you want to see, and they exist. Whether it's popular or not, you don't have to be limited to the cable channels that we were limited to back in the day. So that default to truth should stop with our generation. And anybody else who's not in our generation shouldn't default to that truth. And even the people who...
No, it's not going to stop with your generation.
It should, though, because now we get to see...
Oh, wait. You're missing the part that Schubert said earlier. It takes work. So you want me to search to see different facets of blackness? No, I'm going to see what I'm shown right in front of my face. That still takes work, so it won't die with your generation.
But if you want to see it...
you're telling me that I have to search it. Again, you're telling me I have to do work.
But, okay, so if I'm looking on YouTube...
I'm just saying, you're telling me I have to work for it.
Smith, it's just as much work for me to type in ghetto black man as it is for me to type in successful black man. I'm still searching for it. Whether I'm looking on Instagram.
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying.
That's not true, because a lot of the image of ghetto black man often hit trending searches, especially when you talk about, these social media websites.
So you're saying
that using that same thing you just said, it's easy for me to search a gram of coke versus index fund.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yes, I'm trying to tell you, bro.
No, that's not what I said. I said it's easier for you to understand it than for you to search it. Both of them are just as easy. It's just easier for you to understand one than it is to understand the other.
No, but you're missing. You miss what Black Zeus is saying, though.
He's saying that it's easier to search one other. No, it's not. If I type in how to cut a gram of coke, I'm saying it's easier for
Yes.
somebody to understand after watching that video. It's easier for them to understand how to do that than if I type in how to invest in an index fund for me to watch it and say, oh, okay, now I know that all of these are the index funds I can do. I know how exactly invested in. Like, no, that's going to take further research.
But Kel, you're underestimating what, especially now, like what social media has done. Dude, you're still searching because, that gram of coke, that trends easily. And it's going to be on your radar whether you like it or not. Dude, every time I log in and I go to my Google News or my Yahoo News, there's stories about Kim Kardashian that's propped up in front of my face that I didn't even bother to look up. So I'm saying, so to what Black Zeus was saying is, yeah, you're going to get the gram of coke presented to you a whole lot easier than it is to do some investment in index funds. It's the simple truth.
Yeah. I get it. So y'all are saying
you still got to search.
So, when we cut on the TV, it's just not readily available. It's not in our face.
There's also the difference, though. There's also a difference. In order for me to get a gram of coke, I gotta find a provider. I gotta go through.
No, so we're not. I'm not saying.
No. Hear me out. I gotta go through all these hoops and loops and possibly get arrested and get into all types of shit. While a 15-year-old kid can get on their phone, download the Acorn apps, hook it up to their bank account, and then buy an Apple stock in the same amount of time that you and I just conversated, versus go out there and get a gram.
Yeah, but sure, I'm not talking about the actual.
How hard is it really in this day and age to do better? You can't have it handed to you any easier than it is today. You can
my original statement to that was because we're saying as far as what is appealing to what we listen to. So if I'm listening to a rapper talk about cooking up drugs, that's easier for me to comprehend than if a rapper is sitting there and talking about, go to Acorns, download an investment stock, and then you get the mutual fund. That's what I'm saying, to comprehend. When I'm sitting here and somebody's explaining something to me, one thing is easier for me to comprehend as a fan when I'm listening to music than somebody else explaining something different.
That's funny to me because
as
making
a fan, that's a casual
stuff
fan.
that involves chemistry. That's no easy thing to do.
Okay, so scratch. So scratch.
I don't understand.
Okay,
so
that's fine.
You can't science.
Yeah, there's some science involved in that.
So then scratch the drugs.
It is.
Scratch the drugs. Okay, scratch the drugs. Let's talk about shooting somebody. Oh man, now we got to talk about angles. No, it's easy for me to understand. I came down to the block, put out my Glock, click clock. That's a lot easier to understand than get the mutual fund and get my stockbroker and 3% interest, 12%. And
what is the biggest thing rappers brag about?
Money.
Exactly.
And
drugs.
End goes to
get money. If I could show you a way, if I could make another way,
but they're not showing you. That's what I'm saying.
That's the problem.
That's the problem we're talking about.
That's what we're talking about.
To help change the default to truth of black men.
Oh, so you're saying in their music,
you put both on the same platform and said, okay, choose. I'm going to get a great rapper. I don't care who it is, J. Cole, this, that, and the other, whoever is a great lyricist to talk about selling drugs, being shit, dealing with stick-up kids, possibly going to prison, dealing with killing motherfuckers, possibly getting killed, or that same rapper using their same rap skills to say, hey, I got this, I take $100 and I put it away for every month, and now I'm a fucking millionaire.
Got it. So all of Bruce Springsteen's fans, Bradley, who followed him for years, it's because Bruce Springsteen has been teaching them things and telling them how to do stuff.
No. He's not necessarily teaching things, but his music does not lead to a negative perception of white people.
Music simply hits you emotionally. Yeah. So the whole thing is that I'm broke, I'm struggling, I'm poor. I want to get out the situation. It don't matter what they tell me.
So then how do you explain country singers who always talk about having a heart broken. That portrays a negative. That portrays a. But that portrays a negative. But hold on. So does that not portray a negative perception of them? Either of them or of the person who.
But no one perceive a country artist as a threat to society.
Yes.
Okay.
When you hear a country artist talking about love and having their heart broken, they're basically saying the same thing. Like, what's this guy's name? Sam Smith, right? He's always talking about heartbreak. And the whole thing is women pile into the fucking stadium to hear this man sing. Why? Because they're saying, oh my God, he understands us. He understands what we feel and what we're going through. They're not saying, oh, I never want to be in love again. They're saying, I want someone to love me this much. Okay.
So hold on.
And that doesn't give a bad stereotype.
So nobody looks at him negatively, or even the women who he talks. So they're talking about getting their heart broken by a woman. So you're saying nobody in the world perceives this dude's got his heart broken again and again. Country music talks about women who's breaking the men's heart. Nobody in the world perceives.
Bro, no one is perceiving a country artist as a threat. As a threat to society. Dude, when you see a hip-hop artist, you just said this past week there's been 2 hip-hop artists that's died. And I saw one of the videos, like a security cam video of one of the rappers being dead. When you see that sort of imagery, you're left to one default of truth of black people, but you don't get that with country artists.
Okay, so having a perception, yes. All right, I agree that the perception could be different, but I don't think that it's up to them to be teaching us what we should be doing. Music.
Well, for me, I'm not saying teaching.
Like,
go ahead,
you don't have to teach.
Yeah, but
I'm not saying.
I'm sorry.
If someone gives you a different presentation or gives you the opportunity, because one of the biggest things that black folks always fucking complain about is that they don't have the opportunity, they don't have the resources, they don't have this, they don't have that. So now, if that is presented to them, you can't sit there and use that same excuse.
Yeah,
but you can't say like, oh well, it's all we know, so that's what we got to stick to. You can't have.
So then we can't say in the same light. So we can't say in the same light. Okay, Jay-Z is now rapping about investing. So the perception when white people look at him is, oh, he's a positive perception. Okay, cool. And he's successful and black people still like him. But then the argument can't be, oh, well, there's a lot of black people who don't follow him. Okay, so then is it you want the black people to remain his fans, or you want the perception that we give off in the media to be different? Because Jay-Z is giving off the perception that I'm pretty sure we would want majority of the rappers to be given off.
It's not just the perception, it's the influence that it has on the community. At the end of the day, the fact is that if the people you look up to, if Michael Jordan wears a pair of Jordans, even if it's a shitty fucking sneaker, everybody go out and buy Jordans.
So then it doesn't have to do with the fact that we're posed as a threat. When white people look at Jay-Z, I don't think that they see him as a threat in the sense of he's going to rob me when he sees me.
But Jay-Z has made the transition.
He transitioned. Yeah.
He transitioned.
So with that understanding, so that's fine. So if everybody rapped like Jay-Z, then the mission of how we're perceived would be accomplished, whether black people were following along or not, because we're saying that now we no longer default to the stereotype that a black male looks like a certain way, because the majority of rappers rap about the same thing that he raps about, looks like the same way, not even looks like the same way, he has the same demeanor that he has. So the stereotype of seeing us as a threat is gone, whether we're getting the message across to our people or not, whether our people are even following us as fans. That perception is now gone. Mission accomplished, right?
Yes.
That's what we're saying.
Over time, yes.
Okay, so then who cares if the people are listening to the message that we're sending? Now our new portrayal in the media is different, whether anybody's listening to what we're saying or not. So it's not up to us to say, oh, well, we're giving this message to the black people. No, mission accomplished. Our perception, we're no longer a threat according to the outsiders who look at us. It don't matter what people.
What you lost me.
You're still gonna be. Yeah, I don't know what you said. I don't.
If you're saying that the media, if you're saying that we're posed when they look at us, they see us as a threat because of the things that we talk about, right?
What we talk about and the influence it has on the community.
So,
because that's the second part what she was talking about.
oh,
Hip hop is the number one genre in the world,
yeah,
and it has
and
it's the most influential music that we've seen in modern times.
So how does a person who's never come in contact with a black person, and the only influence that they see is on TV, and they're drawing those stereotypes off of that TV? How does the fact that people are acting that way in their community, like if this is what we're seeing and we're portraying on TV, when I cut the TV on, this is the light that I'm seeing these black men in, or these black people in. It's a positive light, just like Jay-Z. Then how is that, like, that's the perception that everybody sees of us. So isn't that so now?
No, because it's not. I see. I think I know where you're going with this. Okay, it's not universal with all hip hop artists. Jay-Z is just one.
Understood. So what
he's a unicorn right now.
No, I get it. So what I'm saying is, it's not that. If our perception is, if we want the perception of us to be like Jay-Z, every rapper now acts like Jay-Z. All of the white people and the athletes, all of the white people think that, okay, this is how black people act. So now when a black person steps into a courtroom, all of the white people, instead of thinking, oh, he's a thug, I've seen all of these. I've seen LeBron James, I've seen Jay-Z, I've seen Stephen Curry, like all of the people who are portrayed act like that they see in their experiences. Now, when they step into that courtroom, even if this dude is a thug, I've never personally met a black person. So my perception is that he's just like Jay-Z and Stephen Curry. So now my default to truth is something different.
Yes.
That's what we were saying the entire time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that you're influencing me. I could still be that thug. Jay-Z doesn't influence me.
But we're talking about perception and defaulting to truth.
Exactly.
So in order for majority of the rap, if the perception that we see on the TV is not the real perception of us, but that's what white people think that it is, then
perception matters, bro.
Agreed.
It matters. Yo, for time crunch, we got to move on to the next question. We got 3 more questions. Look what you started, Smith. Look what you started. The one question he submits in weeks.
Nobody can play the wrap it up music because the dude who got the wrap up music is the one holding us up.
Oh no!
Yeah, right.
I've been ready.
He ain't wrap himself up.
I've been ready. I've been ready to wrap it up, man.
All right.
Y'all just keep trying to come at me, man.
Next question. Why is the women? This is a Black Zeus question, and this was the question I was going to submit, and I said screw it, so he submitted it. Why is the woman a victim of alcoholic blackout, but the man is not? Go ahead, Black Zeus. I think I know we're going to go with this.
So reading this whole story, and now mind you, I remember being in the barbershop and hearing the whole story of what happened at Penn State and everything, and the whole messing behind the dumpster. And I remember being in the barber shop and all the dudes in there was like, oh, that motherfucker, I'd kill him if it was my sister or my daughter or my whatever. You know, like this is a barbershop full of men. And we all thinking the same thing, like that motherfucker need to die, you know? And we all ready to throw him underneath the bus, not knowing the full story. Now hearing the full story and understanding what the scenario was, you know, and seeing that he was just as bent as she was. He, you know, and hearing his original testimony, like of not even remembering being tackled by these dudes, not remembering how he got into that position with this girl or any of that stuff, and now having the information of knowing that a person could be completely functional and be blackout drunk, you know.
Yeah, that's crazy to me. I didn't know that.
And so it's like, how is it that this girl who is blackout drunk is not responsible, not, you know, in trouble in whatsoever, you know, but and she's the victim, but he's not a victim of being, you know, underneath the influence? Because, like, essentially you're saying, well, she wouldn't have behaved that way if she wasn't, you know, so drunk. Well, neither would he. Why are you not giving him a pass? You know, it seems like quite the double standard.
I think that whether it's fair or not, it seemed like in those situations that the male was both not necessarily aggressor, but he's the one who makes the first move. Like if it's like, oh well, did you insert your finger into her vagina first, or did she grab your penis? If it was, oh well, she grabbed my dick, then I think that kind of validates him making those moves forward. But like the whole, now I'm not even saying it's fair, because even with the one with this dude like fingered her, and the dude got like hand abuse or whatever. So
yeah,
whatever.
he messed up his wrist when he got tackled. Yeah.
No, not even
No,
him.
he tried to do a finger.
Oh
He
yeah.
got like finger assault or some craziness like that, whatever it is. Like I think like in both of those, in all of the situations that were drawn, it's just like even with my man who was like, yo, you know, I took my fingers and ran it down her panty line and tried to pull it down some. Like if it had been reversed, where it was like, yo, she grabbed my penis, was making those advances, you know, that's why I did whatever I did. Like that's what kind of absolves the female. Not saying that it's fair, because I think it's ridiculous, especially with, you know, some of the other instances that they gave. But I mean, it is like I think that's like the one determining factor where it's like the male make the first move each time.
Well, no, you don't. But you don't necessarily know if the male made the first move or not. And the question, what you're asking is the male responsible? So they're always going to still look at the female, and the male he can't hold the blackout status. They're not going to hold that because, as he was talking about the alcoholic myopia, and you have the male is supposed to, you know, be able to drink more than the female, the body weight and all of that stuff. So they're still saying that in that situation, you notice that the female is becoming intoxicated. At some point, you can't allow yourself to still get as intoxicated. So you're always going to be that default to truth, that the male is always going to be fucking responsible because he's going to be responsible. You know what I mean? It's some bullshit, but I do understand that part of it. And Henry, if a chick, that happens a lot when chicks actually start grabbing on men. They do that a lot.
Yes.
They do that shit a lot, bro. So
I
don't even know.
And I'm not, but
where you going with that?
No. So
I'm in
saying,
club drunk and females are grabbing.
I'm not saying that.
Grabbing my penis.
I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm saying in those specific cases that was presented in this book, in those instances,
it's one of them double standards.
Yeah, but like the guy never. Even when they're recounting their version of the story, the guy never said like, no, I didn't touch her first. She did X, Y, and Z to me first. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen, Smith. All that I'm saying is in these two specific instances, well, two of the specific instances in this that was drawn on, and both
instances, these men actually verbalize, hey, is this cool? And they're like, is this all right?
Facts.
You know, so it's like when I ask you a direct, clear-cut question and you say what other, I'm defaulting to truth, you know, what other signs am I supposed to get? So now you got a culture of women that say, just because I go home with you, get naked, get in your bed, suck your dick, does not mean.
See, that's the thing though.
That's behavioral analysis though.
Yeah.
Like how fucked up is that?
No, it is.
It is. It's fucked up.
But and it puts us on a defensive to where now it's like, is this okay? Okay. I'm gonna need you to grab my penis first. So that just in case something goes down.
Girl, they said if a girl brings out a condom, it's still not consent.
That's why I'm gonna need you.
Yeah, and Henry, that it doesn't matter. She can touch you and still say no.
And
like you're fucked. You're just fucked.
No, I agree. Once no comes
out, you're saying I'm gonna tell her to touch me first. So you need to touch me first. Okay, I touched you and I'm saying no.
But no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying
no because they're not even saying no.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, they're not saying no.
That's exactly what I'm saying. But once
they were saying yes.
But once you become the aggressor,
listen, they're saying that
work.
As a male, you have to know, you have to study a female and know when they're too intoxicated. That's your job.
Yeah.
Well,
that's what they're saying. It's your job to know.
The burden of truth is placed on a man, unfortunately.
You have to know how drunk she is. That's your job. And that's your responsibility.
That's not fair.
And you knew she was drunk, so you should have walked away from her.
Well,
but you knew she was drunk.
That's the only other way to do it. Like,
I'm just telling you that
I'm not
burden of
even
truth
taking
is
a
there.
chance because who knows? Like, yo, how am I gonna sit here and even be able to monitor how many drinks you had when I just saw you 10 minutes ago? Because homeboy said one of them even said, I just met her 10 minutes ago. So how the hell am I supposed to know how many drinks you had before?
Yeah, the Brock Turner case. Yeah, the Brock Turner case. Yeah, that story, and like Shu said, I didn't know the full details until this chapter. I really didn't. Like, I knew the sentiments behind it was like, yo, this white boy didn't got off on some raping shit, you know, and he didn't only did 6 months or something crazy like that and did probation afterwards. Yeah. And I shrugged my shoulders like, yo, that's ill, you know, and it led you to that, you know, that thought process of race. And then you hear this breakdown, you just like, yo, there was more to this story. And unfortunately, you know, we just read Myth of Male Power. It's just like, and what Smith just said, it's just like, it's just one of those things that is just double standards that's just accepted in society. And what's crazy was, I think what was the most damning part about that whole alcoholic blackout situation was Brock Turner said that he wanted to bring awareness to on-campus drinking as to like, yo, this is a problem and we need to regulate this. And the chick turned around and said, how dare you say that, you know, alcohol is the problem. You assaulted me. Like, yo,
that was the problem. Yeah,
that was and I'm like, yo, my man is, you know, as Malcolm Gladwell was saying in this chapter, he was saying like, yo, both go hand in hand. But yo, these, you know, to I think what Schubert's getting to is like, yo, these women don't want any accountability in their demise. No. They didn't want any accountability. They're just like, yo, you're the predator, and we're just gonna keep it at that.
And the thing is, here's the thing. Is the fact of it's two things. Part one is the fact of 9 out of 10 times, these guys would not act that way without being under the influence.
Exactly.
So it's not like they had this malicious intent to be a predator or whatever the case these women are portraying them as. They were fucking shit-faced drunk, and everybody knows when you fit shit-faced drunk. Is you also now you think you're the greatest dancer on the dance floor. Now you think your jokes are funnier.
Comedian.
Bro, we all hooked up with some dog face looking broads drunk.
All right? You think you're a whole nother person. You got a lot more confidence. And this is part of the reason why people fucking drink when they go out. All right? So they have a little bit more confidence and they're a little bit more chillaxed or whatever. Like Malcolm said, drinking alcohol is transforming, you know? So you got this environment where 9 out of 10 women go to these environments expecting men to hit on them. They want a boyfriend. They want somebody to go with this, that, and the other. And dudes, you know, we're always in a position where we have to constantly go up to these people and be rejected time and time again, right? And that can do something to your psyche and your self-confidence. So maybe you have a couple drinks to chill you out or to give you a little bit more self-confidence. While on the other side, these women are constantly, always being hit on or whatever the case is. And of course they feel like, oh, pussy is the greatest thing on the planet because all these dudes are begging for it. And they don't know what it is to be on the receiving end of being shut down and being, turned down and being told no. And they expect men to just know, oh, now is not the time to hit on me, or you are not the one to hit on me. Because the double standard is bullshit. And the reality is,
you know what? I do have a question.
Stop hitting on women.
The bullshit is
population would decrease.
You know what the bullshit is, Brad, for you answer your question? This chick who was his victim turned that into a fucking way to get bread. She came out with a whole book. She reviewed herself. I just looked her up.
Yeah, but a lot of them did.
She's like a well-known writer at 28 years old.
Bro, they all do that shit. Like a lot of these, one of the things, and before I get into the question, one of the good things I could say about the Trump administration, he reversed he passed an executive order reversing an act that Obama put in, which is called the Dear Colleague letters, where basically it eliminated due process on campus. So like during the Obama administration, there was always those stats that talking about 1 in 5 women, which Malcolm Gladwell just recited in here. 1 in 5 women on college campuses get, raped or they're victims of sexual assault. So one of the things that, that was presented to the Trump administration that they was noticing like, yo, there was no police investigation. Like it went straight to the deans and the school administration to make these verdicts without no outside lawyers, no outside police investigations. So it's just like you get that a lot where it's just like these young men, they're often portrayed as, as predators in society without no real due process, unless he's willing to take on legal, action. But the one question I do want to have is, she said she had a boyfriend. Now, am I wrong for saying, what the hell was she doing at a frat party? Because we all know what goes down at a frat party. Like, so my thing is, like, what was she doing at a frat party being in a relationship? Like, I'm not saying that, she got to be on some slave servitude-ish, but I'm just thinking like, yo, historically, we always know some debauchery goes down at a frat party. So, like, what is she doing at a frat party?
First of all, she
messaged to her boyfriend while being shit-faced. Why did that dude step in and be like, yo, what the fuck are you doing? Where the fuck are you going?
Exactly. I thought all of that was messed up. I was thinking like, yo, hold on, you got a boyfriend and you out in a frat party getting shit-faced drunk, knowing that you could possibly hook up with another dude.
She's on a college campus. She's on a college campus. That boyfriend was temporary. She was out there trying to find another man.
Yeah. Plus,
but hey, I wanted to say, hey, Black Zeus, that going in the club and getting turned down. That I wanted to say, that chick that you walked up to, she was already sent like 6 drinks by 6 other dudes. So no, I wasn't counting how many drinks she had. I only gave her 1, but she was already sent 6 other drinks by 6 other dudes. So by the time I got my first drink with her, she's like fucked up. Like she's, rocking and rolling. And the other part is that, but like you said, Black Zeus, if we're both shit-faced drunk, then there should be something with that. You know what I mean? Because if we're both out of our mind till we pass out and black out and we don't know anything, then there should be some kind of, some kind of pass or something. Or maybe we need to record everything. I don't know. That shit just seems weird. Well, we're both nice.
First off, I'm a little disappointed in her because she's Asian, so she should have been submitting to her boyfriend. Let's talk about that first.
Oh, word, she is?
Yeah, she's straight up Asian. So she should have been submitting to her boyfriend instead of out there hoeing around.
She should have been submitting.
Yo, I don't know, man. I think that shit is unfair. Where you like, and I don't think that this dude really meant. I mean, maybe he didn't mean as ill of an intent as he actually did. I don't know. Your whole life is turned around. I mean, he did only serve 3 years and 3 months in prison, even though he had a whole bunch of hate mail and death threats and everything afterwards.
It doesn't matter 3 months, Henry. You got to register as a sex offender.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
I'm not saying to downplay it, but I'm saying above all else, the one thing that kind of irks me is just like, yo, now you're going off and getting like fame and notoriety off of the fact that you was a victim. I'm like, that's fucked up. While like, yo, we're at Stanford. So like, we're both intelligent. I'm pretty sure the homeboy, not saying that he still doesn't, but he's, had a bright future.
I think once you get kicked off a college campus for something like this, it's hard to enroll into another university, right?
Well, maybe to stay on campus, but community.
Yeah, unless he do it. I mean, he could do it online, though, right? I guess he do it online.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we'll get to the last question because I know my man's pressed for time. We got 4 minutes.
I got a few minutes too because it's birthday weekend for baby girl.
I got 4 minutes, bro.
All right. Well, last question we're gonna answer. Give Kelvin's question because this is his book. Is there any other situations besides dangerous situations where we have to cover the stereotypical response with another emotion?
So I don't know if y'all remember there was a part where like this dude was saying he was in the shower. He came out, he heard his wife scream. She came out, the dude had a knife to her neck. And the
70-year-old man.
Yeah, he was scared on the inside, but he was like, leave right now.
Leave right alone. Get your hands off of my voice.
and he bounced.
I'm going to switch devices because I'm travel.
Shoot, we got 3 minutes left, bro. So you do whatever you need to do. But and then he was saying, on the outside he was looking like this, but on the inside he was looking scared as hell. So like, hell, is there any other situation besides one was like fears for our life where we got to cover up the stereotypical, like you would expect a nigga to be scared in that situation where you cover up like the stereotypical fear? I can think of one.
Yeah, for the kids, I guess, for your kids. Right?
Yeah, your kid and your spouse. I think that's the only time you get. Yeah, that's the only time when you can show courage, when you're deep down inside, terrified. Like, yo, I might get knocked out. Like, yo, big ass Schubert, if you would have rolled up on me, like, yo, I'm about to grab your wife's ass, I'd be like, damn, I gotta really put the front. Like, all right, man, I'm like, yo, I want to bark at this dude, knowing deep down inside, like, yo, this shit might go left.
Nigga like, no, you not. No, you not.
No, you not.
No, you. No, you not. Yeah, spouses and kids, man.
Spouses and kids, especially your kids. You want to make sure that they get that. Yeah, my daddy's strong vibe.
My daddy ain't no punk vibe.
My daddy ain't no punk.
I mean, think about it. You walk down the street and you with your spouse, and something about to pop off. You like, I gotta be tough.
I gotta be tough.
I gotta be tough.
There's got to be a point.
And in the inside, you scared to death.
Yo, there's got to be a point, though. There's got to be a point, though, where y'all been together long enough where it's okay to be like, yo, babe, let's just go on and run now.
Nah. I don't know. You know what? I have so much of the male toxic masculinity stereotype that
said, come on, babe, let's run.
I don't think I can live up to that. Unless,
like, yo, babe, let's cross over. Let's cross the street.
Hey, Kaz, remember that time we was walking down the street and we ran? Nah, I don't want to hear that story ever in life.
It's like, dang, yo, well, you ain't told me you ran track. Like,
because right now, I can tell you right now, in that situation, I'll probably outrun my wife and she'll be left.
I was just about to say that. I'm about to say, you going to run with her and you probably faster than her.
Yeah, exactly. She's going to be left. So for me, it's going to be a fight situation. I don't got to fight. It's going to be a fight situation.
I'm going to run first. Then when I see they catching up to it, then I'll be like, all right, I guess I'm just going to fight now. I mean,
I think that's the only term, man.
At some point, your wife knows you and you know her. So, like, come on.
But it still doesn't change the fact that, like, if she sees the punk in you, that might still resonate a little bit. Like, damn, he ain't bothered to fight. Because I don't know if you guys. Go ahead, Smith.
Oh no, I was going to say. So, Henry, you see the guy. He decides that he wants to assault your wife. And you looking at him like, I don't think I can take this guy.
Yo, I'm saying, look.
You're gonna say, babe, just apologize to the man?
No, I'm gonna say it like this dude about to touch your ass. Let's start walking. Let's cross over, bro.
No. She's already been touched.
Oh, she's been touched already?
Yes.
So it's already happened.
Look at this. How many other ways?
I just had to be clear that I understood what he was asking.
He's like, touch, like, all right, touch where, the elbow, or because the elbow was fine. An elbow touch is okay.
Was a whole hand? Was a whole hand, or was it fingers?
Like, yes, it's already been touched. Like,
then I'm picking something up, I'm hitting him with it, and then we gonna run. Like, yo, let's go.
Oh, okay.
Fellas,